Pleasure to be here. Some faces that I know, a bunch of new ones. Thanks BTC Prague also for putting on this event. It's a real honor. All right, so today I'm going to be talking to you about a marketing campaign for Bitcoin. And it's not necessarily for a company, it's not for a brand, it is for the community. We want to grow the builder community, it's very important. Builders, entrepreneurs, creatives, and other types are super important for the ecosystem to grow companies, to create use cases that connect to people, that connect to people's problems that they're facing in wherever they are in the world. My name is Beharry. I'm from Peak Shift. It's a venture studio. I got some logos there for credibility, since some of you might not know me. I've worked with Albi in the initial setup of that project. It's a Lightning browser extension, really cool. And a few other brands there, as well as some open source communities. All right, so let's get to it. Bitcoin versus Web3. So the thing is, Bitcoin has this perception problem where, although it is the main, the main word that people use to describe the industry, right? You walk down the street, people most likely are gonna know what Bitcoin is versus anything else, right? But somehow, we're lagging so much on active developers in the space, right? You can see Ethereum there is just like absolutely surpassed us. And this is kind of down to this problem where people see Bitcoin as being slow, see Bitcoin as being just for savings, and see it as boring. It feels, or at least what people are perpetrating is that Bitcoin's boring and it's not fun. And I want to say that's not the case, so we're going to be debunking some of those myths today. And people are doing all sorts of things in the space. There's really, really exciting projects. Bitcoin's being very expressive. It's been up for quite a long time. And people are building social networks, as you heard Rockstar say for a bit there, about Nostr and stuff, and they're using Zaps to share value with one another. Now, one of the first myths that I want to debunk about Bitcoin is it being slow. So people are referring typically to the 10-minute block time, usually, right? So what I want to say is it's not slow, it's stable. On the base layer, we want our money. We want, if it's supposed to be the money of the internet, a global payment network, a global network, we need that to be stable. And then upon it, we could build other types of applications, other kinds of layer twos, etc. So Bitcoin's not slow, it's stable. That's the framing that we should have. Also, it's predictable because you know what, it has a fixed supply. We also know that it's going to be online, so your application isn't going to go offline, right? This is also kind of important. Bitcoin is also expressive, right? Some people say it's just for savings, but we have smart contracts in Bitcoin. We have assets that you could, custom assets that you could launch on the RGB network, on the new development of Taproot, over the Lightning network. There's things like WebLN, which allows browsers to connect to a wallet, and other forms of communication like LNURL, which allows you to get like or Lightning address, which allows you to get like a human readable name and to be able to send money to it. So it's and these things are really picking up. And in the past 5 years or so, we've seen through the Lightning Network, we've seen an explosion of applications and things being built, companies being built. A few, what was it, like 6 or 9 months ago, we decided like, okay, what's the size of this ecosystem? So we started doing some mapping, my company as well as Bolt Observer, of the landscape of the Bitcoin and Lightning, well, specifically the Lightning ecosystem. And we found over 1,400 companies. The funny thing is, like, that is before the whole ordinals stuff. Do you guys know about ordinals, by the way? Yeah? Some? No? Yeah, some people don't like it. But before the whole ordinals thing, and Nostr, this is the number that we had. So I'm pretty sure that's probably tripled by now. There's all sorts of things being built. If you like metaverse-like stuff, that's being done. On Ascenda is a really cool project that came out of one of our hackathons. There's social funding. There's DeFi-like stuff. 10.10.1 is a good example of that. Node management stuff for those who are kind of like technical on the DevOps side. Some privacy-related tools. So there's all sorts of things being built on Bitcoin on-chain, as well as the other layer 2s that are coming up from it. And with all of that, I don't think Bitcoin's that boring, right? I think it's fun. I think it's disingenuous to say anything other. What we've started to do in the space is to really allow people on the application layer, which I think is the most important, for applying use cases. And we also have hubs which are popping up. I think this started sometime in Austin, Texas, right? This place called Pleb Lab. They created this kind of like ecosystem, this physical space for Bitcoiners to meet up, for builders to come and experiment, for folks to come in and ask questions. And yeah, that kind of like caught fire. There was a presentation yesterday called 21, and it's a similar kind of a grassroots movement. These hubs have kind of taken on. One person provides the template, and other people, I wouldn't say copy, but they follow along. They replicate it in different areas of the world. So there's spaces in Bangkok, Thailand, Bob's space there. There's some in El Salvador, just spaces for people to meet. We like to meet each other in physical space as much as we work in the digital realm. It's cool to sit down, drink some Schlieva with your peers. And we also set one up in Belgrade as well, me and some partners. It's a cool place, and it's just like we wanted to hang out with one another. So we decided like, hey, why not start up a space, a little office workspace, and we go there pretty much every day. And yeah, just hack and talk. We work on independent projects, but yeah, it's just fun to be around other people. Hackathons. So these are, in my opinion, very critical for innovation and growth in the space as well. We need to invite new people into the space. How do we do that if they don't really know about the technologies? We need to provide mechanisms for support. Some people need funding. And in a hackathon, in that environment, you have like teams forming up. We're able to help one another out, right? And we've seen some very interesting variations of these hackathons as well. For example, in the Bitcoin design community, we had a designathon. So it's not just limited for only technical people. This one was focused on improving the user experience of either existing apps or just exploring some creative expressions, whatever it is, artists, etc. And we had some really cool projects come out of that as well. Another one is PlebFi in Miami. I can't remember which year it was, but this was an in-person hackathon. I wouldn't say the first one for Lightning and stuff, but it was kind of like attached to a conference. Sorry, not like someone planned it around the conference. And, again, just wanting to bring people in, meet friends, experiment, have fun. And this is a meet space version of it. At Bolt Fun, the project that I'm working on currently, we do virtual hackathons. And for me, it was kind of important to do things virtually because when you're from a place where it doesn't have these meat space communities, you kind of don't get access to these kinds of experiences. So something which is virtual now, everyone can access it globally. And we've done maybe like four now, yeah, I think four. Our next hackathon is supposed to be at the end of this month, I think. We're still planning it out. It's like AI plus Bitcoin themed. But we've done some relating to Nostr, building social applications, decentralized social applications on Bitcoin. We've also done, like, I think I would want to claim the biggest hackathon in Bitcoin so far, virtually, called Legends of Lightning. And this one was, the purpose for this one, again, was sustainability. We wanted projects to not just die at the hackathon, which is completely fine. You know, sometimes you go to a hackathon and it's like just for fun, and you want to just experiment and like learn something new. But we also need these projects to keep on existing. So we did partnerships with a bunch of VC firms in the space, and they helped support it, put up some prizes. We had 3 Bitcoin in prizes, actually, for that hackathon. And from there was like a bunch of really, really interesting, useful tools that came out of it, and companies even being formed. Here's some of those stats right here. So, yeah, on the platform that we built to support these hackathons, we have about 1,600 makers. Our follower count is pretty low, and but we've done like a bunch of workshops, and we're producing material. It's all out in the open for everyone to be able to access, because I think for the space to grow, it's important for us to share information with one another, share knowledge with one another on how to do these things. Now, my first slide was missing, so that kind of threw me off a bit. What I wanted to talk to you about on that first slide was the hashtag #BuildOnBitcoin, right? And I mentioned that it's not a marketing campaign for a brand or a product. I mentioned that it's about for the community, for the builder community. So some of you out there might be entrepreneurs, creatives, artists, whoever that want to start some businesses, align it to Bitcoin, build on Bitcoin, or use Bitcoin as it serves whatever purpose in the solution you're trying to build. I want you guys to help push this out to other people and kind of, I don't know, like get some more attention in the space. We need to raise the amount of active developers, the amount of companies that are being formed. That's how we go from ecosystem, open source ecosystem, which is very important, to move to a industry, right? The industry, for it to be healthy, we need to have a lot of competition, we need to have a lot of variety of choices, etc. So I want to invite you to build on Bitcoin. We set up a portal. You can scan the code here. And the portal is for basically a bunch of like developer resources and tools to get you started in the variety of areas where you might want to create your business or project at. So we're going to be constantly updating that, but this is not the campaign website or anything. You guys tweet it out, #BuildOnBitcoin, get it noticed. Bitcoin is not boring. It's a very fun place to be. It's a very exciting ecosystem, and it's growing, and there's huge potential for people who want to build solutions here. Thank you very much.